The billionaire lost everything. Until a single dad janitor changed his life forever, he was once one of the richest men in the city. Alexander Gray, a name that screamed success, power, and luxury. But in just one cruel twist of fate, everything vanished. His company collapsed, his so-called friends disappeared, and his mansion was sold overnight. Homeless, broken, and invisible to the world he once ruled, Alexander found himself cleaning floors in the very office he once owned. And that's where fate stepped in again, through a quiet, humble janitor named David, a single father with nothing but kindness in his heart. David saw something in Alexander that no one else did. What started as small talk during late-night cleaning shifts would turn into a story of redemption, friendship, and a life-changing decision. Alexander Gray had it all: a billion-dollar empire, luxury cars, a mansion overlooking the city, and the confidence of a man who thought he could never fall. His tech company, Gray Tech Industries, dominated the market. Reporters followed him, investors praised him, and society worshipped him. But power often blinds the soul. Alexander became arrogant, dismissive of his employees, and careless with his finances. He trusted the wrong people. People who smiled in front of him but planned his downfall behind closed doors. Then came the betrayal. His CFO, once his closest ally, had been forging documents and embezzling millions. When the truth came out, it was too late. The board forced Alexander to resign. Lawsuits drained his accounts, and the media turned on him like vultures. In a matter of weeks, he went from private jets to public buses, from penthouses to park benches. His wife, unable to handle the shame, left him, taking their son with her. Alexander's world, once golden, now felt darker than ever. He applied for jobs everywhere, but no one would hire a disgraced billionaire. Eventually, desperate and hungry, he took a job as a janitor at a downtown office building. Ironically, the same building where his company once had its headquarters. Every night, while mopping floors and emptying trash cans, he replayed his mistakes in his head. He hated himself until one night, a soft voice broke the silence. "Hey, man. You missed a spot." It was David, a janitor in his mid-30s, wearing worn-out shoes but smiling like he owned the world. That was the beginning. David was unlike anyone Alexander had ever met. He didn't talk about money, success, or luxury. Instead, he spoke about simple things: his daughter, his late wife, and how happiness didn't come from wealth but from gratitude. At first, Alexander was irritated. What could a janitor teach a man who once controlled millions? But as days turned into weeks, he began to listen. David worked 2 jobs, yet never complained. He would bring extra sandwiches for Alexander, always saying, "You can't clean well on an empty stomach." That small act of kindness touched something deep within Alexander, something he had lost long ago. One night, while taking a break, Alexander opened up about his past. He confessed everything: the arrogance, the betrayal, and the pain of losing his family. David didn't judge. He just nodded and said, "You lost your empire. But maybe that's so you could rebuild something stronger yourself." Those words hit harder than any corporate loss ever had. From that night on, Alexander began to change. He started helping David with his duties, even fixing broken cleaning equipment using his engineering skills. Slowly, he began to feel purpose again. One evening, David brought his daughter, Lily, to the office because her babysitter had canceled. She was shy but bright, and Alexander helped her with her homework. Watching the two laugh together made Alexander realize what truly mattered: not wealth, but connection. He decided it was time to make things right. Months passed. Alexander continued working quietly, saving money and learning from David. He no longer thought like a billionaire, he thought like a man rebuilding his soul. One day, while fixing a faulty light in the office, Alexander overheard 2 executives discussing a failed startup project. They needed someone with experience to save it. That night, an idea sparked. With David's encouragement, Alexander sketched out a new business plan, one based not on greed but on helping small companies recover from bankruptcy. He called it Phoenix Rise Consulting. He pitched the idea to a local investor who once admired him. The investor hesitated but saw sincerity in his eyes and agreed to fund it. Within months, the company took off. Clients poured in and Alexander's reputation began to heal. But he didn't forget who stood by him when no one else did. The first thing Alexander did was make David his business partner. "You cleaned floors beside me when the world walked over me," he said. "Now let's build something together." David's eyes filled with tears. He accepted, not out of greed, but gratitude. Years later, Gray and David Enterprises became a symbol of integrity and second chances. Alexander reunited with his son, who proudly told everyone, "My dad's my hero again." And at the company's 5th anniversary, Alexander said to the crowd, "I lost everything: money, status, pride, but I gained something priceless: A friend who reminded me that true wealth is in kindness. If this story touched your heart, remember, one act of kindness can rebuild a life. Share this video, spread positivity, and subscribe for more stories that remind us compassion is the real currency of the world.